You're listening to Radio Free Cybertron with your hosts, Brian Kilby, J.D. Church, Rob Springer, John DeLuna, Lady Rick, Weebum, featuring XV.
Hey, this is Radio Free Cybertron, and it's not all of those people. It's just Brian Kilby, John DeLuna, XV, and Lady Rick. It's
all the ones that matters.
Yeah, it's the day before American Thanksgiving. That's when we are recording. You will be hearing this sometime Friday or after. It may be 2040. If so, why the God are you listening to this?
Yeah, look at Brian's room. It's like a time capsule.
Yeah, it is a time capsule.
Yeah.
So
if you're from the future,
and you want to know more about history. Yeah, I mean you got to know a lot. You got to learn about history to know a lot about history. Yeah, a very
thin slice of history.
Yeah,
like a very specific piece of history.
It's very true, very true. But yeah, so on the show today we have lots of news this week in history, the Wiki Spotlight, and our topic. If you're watching live, you're not going to hear it. You'll have to download the podcast. We will be recapping the first two episodes of Transformers Prime. So look forward to that. We have no idea what's going to happen. So, like I said, lots going on in the news this week. Someone has actually mucked with my show notes since I wrote them. So,
I wonder who that could have been.
Yeah, I know. So, some eHobby set details. Looks like we're getting a clear blue Matrix Glow, possibly Hot Rod. I mean, they've got to pull it from somewhere. Damaged cup. So is his leg ripped off?
Who knows? He's probably just got dirt paint on him.
Yeah, true. Junkion Scrap Heap. Also, we're getting a Decepticon set, which is a clear purple Everybody.
What a give up!
Yes.
What a give up!
Because
there's nothing that can improve Universe Galvatron like being entirely clear plastic.
Oh my God!
Looking like rock candy. Absolutely.
Man, I could go for
I'd love a Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, if he was literally Jolly Rancher or rock candy, I would buy like 3.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah.
So the sets are rumored to be in the 7,500 yen range, so expect at least $125 to $150 according to the middleman markup.
Yeah.
Yay. So.
Yeah. I gotta say, except for the Junkion Scrap Heap, I'm a lot less interested in this than I was last week.
So, XV, you wrote this. I don't quite get it. Takara turns Power Core Combiner Minicons into Target Masters?
Yes.
So, and are they selling the Minicon separately, or is that in a set?
Okay, they did this during Galaxy Force with some of the Minicons that were around then. When you spend so much money at the set stores, they'll give you one of the Minicon premiums.
I really like the fact that Takara has swung all these neat little premiums and crap in Japan. Like, God, was it a credit card Rat Trap?
No, Rat Trap came with a puzzle.
Toys R Us exclusive in Japan.
But there was Minicons that came with credit card.
Was Cyclonus a credit card as well?
Yeah. Was there a Blu-ray or a DVD player Optimus Primal once?
God, there's so much crazy crap
Primal?
in Japan.
I think it was Primal. That was way back. That was really random. We had the test drive. What's his face? You test drive a Chevy. You test drive a car and you got a free one. I forgot who was that.
The plan was Swerve.
And that was
Swerve,
that was Sweden or something, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, the plan was to do that, but it only ended up happening in, Europe.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well done.
And most of the people who had them at that point were able to order them directly from some place and pay about $150 all told to get their little generic deluxe Transformer.
They were selling at BotCon for about $60. So.
Well, yeah, after that, they started turning up in Canada. So they became more available and less ridiculous.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I saw that.
So you like that stuff, Brian?
Kinda. I mean, I'm not. When I'm OCD and in completist mode, it would drive me crazy. But just like now, hey, it's a chance to get something crazy, that hardly anyone has. I'm for it.
But yeah, they've turned 3 of these Power Core Combiner minicons into stand-ins for G1 Master characters.
I mean, at least it's not like, Hasbro employee store, exclusive crap, which I would literally,
Green Ramulus.
I mean, it's ugly, but there's like 7 of them. So they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to try to say this tastefully because this is kind of offensive to some people, and it's not how I'm going to say it in the show notes. But Hasbro has decided to change the name of Spastic, so he will no longer be called the name which, 2 million people consider offensive. So there you go.
How diplomatic of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can all end our hunger strikes and go back to our lives.
Darn.
Yeah. This is really... Did this become like a really bigger deal than anybody ever imagined? Like, to the
Yes.
point where they've got to like put on their Facebook page an apology and that we're going to fix this? I mean, I don't think anybody expected that, really, right?
Yeah, this is like way bigger than the last thing that really stuck out to me, which was the reveal of the Power Core Combiner Huffer photo.
Oh, yeah.
So that was like, as far as like the last big sort of shake-up, then I was involved with that. But so lots, but yeah, it's kind of crazy, really, when you think about it. I mean, it's just someone not. How do you vet a name like that? I know I work for a big company. I mean, there's no way that we could, we would have any idea that a word that we consider commonplace here would be considered offensive somewhere else.
That's true. I mean, to be fair, isn't it? I mean, it's not even the greatest word here, I guess, for a kid's toy.
No,
I don't know. I mean, I'm not being overly sensitive, but it is.
It doesn't have near the kind of connotation here.
It's more just condescending.
Yeah,
it's like dullard.
It's just like there's just so many words.
It's like calling a toy like moron or something like that.
Yeah. It's like let's not even like go there. Like it's not even worth the trouble. So I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I guess it's all moot in the long run. It's just kind of an interesting story.
Yeah. So we have lots of toy shipping, including Jazz and Trax, which John, lucky dog, has Trax.
That's right. Got him at Walgreens, of all places.
I will be going to Walgreens right after this.
Stocking them pretty regularly, or across the country. You have a pretty decent shot. Well,
put that back up on camera, John, so that the people can see it. You like it?
Oh, look, the rub sign's even on straight.
I like him. The thing about Trax, and I was talking about this in the pre-show, is unlike, say, the original handful of Classics toys where you would get stuff like Grimlock, or even a little bit later with Sideswipe, where it was the G1 character, it was a G1 design, but the transformation was different. The toy design was pretty different, especially with like Grimlock. He's got nothing to do with the G1 toy, but he's very obviously and clearly Grimlock. He's
a better overkill, I think.
Yeah. A good point. He makes a fantastic overkill. But so the Classics were really reimagined in a very liberal but direct reinterpretation of the toys. Trax is not that. Trax is the G1 toy with a few tweaks here and there and a little bit of modernizing here and there. But
so he's Victory with ball joints, basically.
Yes, basically. So, to a fan who is like me, who's like 30-ish and is very aware or has had 2 or 3 Trax toys probably so far, he's a little underwhelming, I'll be honest with you, because he literally is that toy again.
Really? Even down to the transformation? With the
the
hood being the lower legs and everything?
I mean, there's some differences, but largely he's the same or very, 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 very similar. And certainly when you look at him in robot mode, he is very similar. Very much the G1 toy, which is great and all, like I said, but it's also kind of dull to a longtime fan because you've seen this before.
Is he being repainted?
Wheeljack.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, but they're having to do some retooling. A new head, obviously.
A new head, but
new weapons.
Yeah, new head, new weapons. But you can also see like with his legs, if you turn them the other way, they look like different legs. I mean, there's some function, there's some versatility in his mold, kind of like the Sideswipe Sunstreaker deal. Yeah,
I mean they've got they haven't gone as far as say like they have with the the Seeker mold, but they've gone quite a far way with Sideswipe mold. So, but yeah, that's it's pretty sweet. I want it. I'm literally going as soon as New Soundwave's over. I am literally going to Walgreens to pick that up. If they have it.
One last note: he has open hands,
really,
which I'm a big fan of in robot mode. Yes, we need more open hands.
For like palming a basketball.
Yeah, well, yeah, he could. He can dribble. Anyway, let me see. Look at that.
And, I'm longing for the Mega
gun
S.
still like pegs in very similarly to just your standard gun, but he still has open hands.
I'm pining right now for that prototype Mega SCF Optimus Prime. That
it wasn't even a prototype. It was
just a drawing. It was a concept. Sorry,
yeah.
rather.
With the basketball spinning finger.
Yes, man. Beautiful. Okay. So, let's see here. What? Oh, yeah. Also, Power Core Combiner Wave 5, Wave 4. So, what's that? Grimstone and the Constructicons. Is it Destructicons?
No, Constructicons.
It's Constructicons. Okay, I forget.
It's, what, Steam Hammer?
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, that's shipping. Also, we got to see pictures of Deep Dive, which is a repaint of Sea Spray.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, he looks really, really nice from the photoshopped up kind of spruced up art. But
yeah, you think it's
the color
Photoshop?
scheme's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. They always add like shadowing and a little bit of detail. They always oversaturate it and kind of play with the colors. But I mean, you can still tell like the color scheme looks really nice. It's I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. He gives me the vibe of like the G.I. Joe whale a little bit, just a little bit.
This right here I'm going to read because it's sort of a press release, but I think it's awesome. So E&I, the parent company of Tformers.com, we are the official podcast of Tformers.com. They've teamed up with Beyond Comics, a local comic book chain in the Washington, D.C. metro area, to raffle off a very special Transformers Optimus Prime hybrid style, which, of course, Peter Cullen knows exactly what that is, THS-02 Convoy from Takara, in support of the U.S. Marine Corps Toys for Tots program. You can purchase a raffle ticket for $1 each at Beyond Comics in Gaithersburg, Maryland, and Frederick, Maryland. The winning ticket will be drawn on December 18th, and you do not have to be there to be present. And it has been autographed by Peter Cullen, so that's pretty sweet. So you really should participate. It's a pretty cool looking toy. I had the THS-01. It's nice looking, and it's autographed by Peter Cullen. So I bet yours isn't, unless you took it to BotCon. But it's for a good cause, and do it. You don't have to be there. I'm going to do it. Okay. So now at simonfurman.wordpress.com, Furman spilled the beans on the end of what would have been the end of the Energon comic by Dreamwave. So, did anyone else read that article?
I read the first one.
What'd you think?
I haven't read all of it yet. I haven't had a chance. So.
Sure sounded like a Dreamwave comic.
There you go.
Nice.
Pretty sweet.
Spoiler alert on that, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I guess you really can't be spoiled since it's never going to happen.
True.
Yeah.
True. That's a philosophical discussion.
That is true. That is
That's
true.
what was planned before it ended, right?
It's
exactly.
the story outlines that they would have turned into scripts and actual comic books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least scripts. It's debatable if these were ever actual comic books.
That's mean.
Yep.
The Comics Code Authority didn't put a stamp on that, so there's really no way of knowing for sure whether it was a comic. I mean, at least if the Comics Code Authority if they spent the $50 for them to sign off on that issue, you could call it a comic. But as it is, it's just a book with some pictures in it.
That's right.
With death. Okay.
So I have a question, because I know you guys can kind of be a little hard on comics. Which ones have you read that have been really, really good in the Transformers?
Recently or
continuity?
Ever? Well,
ever, I guess.
Well, for me, recent is a relative term. I'm going to go all the way back to 2003 and say the Chris Saracini issues of Armada. Before Furman took them over, they were really fun. It's what the Dreamwave, it's what the Armada TV show should have been. Prior to that, I I'm one of the rare people, I think, that really like the Headmasters miniseries. I thought the Headmasters miniseries was really enjoyable. It was Budiansky telling the story of the Nebulons and all that. That was some good stuff. And basically any UK comic you read, as long as it's not like the really, really, really pre-Furman stuff. I mean, it's all very readable. And his American stuff is pretty good. You know, Time Wars and stuff like that. So
I always like G2 a lot.
G2. You remember?
I know I'm not trying to like defend any idea here. I'm just saying for sake of conversation.
You remember when we were doing the G2 episode of RSC, and I was this was about 6, 7, 8 months ago, and I sat down.
I'm sure I was there. I just don't remember specifically.
I sat down to reread G2, and I read the wrong trade first, and I couldn't tell. So I mean, that's sort of my thought on. That's sort of my thought on G2. I mean, G2, it's good, but it's not great. In fact, I can't really think of any Transformers comics that, on a comic scale, that I would consider great.
Yeah, I can go along with that too.
I mean, I not comparing
for Transformers comics, but it's still kind of Transformers comics.
Yeah, comparing. I'm not even going to bother comparing like the Watchmen or anything like that, obviously, because it's not a fair comparison. But just pick something that's out there right now, like Fantastic Four, which is amazing. There's never been a Transformers comic that's half as good as the current run of Fantastic Four, or even Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, it's a different scale. It's a different meter stick. You just can't really compare them. But I mean, there have been some fun Transformers comics, and if you like Transformers, I mean, I like anything. I like the mechanic. So
cool. Just had to ask that. I didn't mean to railroad the whole. No.
It's good. I like to rail on comics sometimes.
Especially Dreamwave.
Especially, I was going to say that. That's the big dark cloud hanging over the Transformers is Dreamwave. I mean, Dreamwave did some neat things, like it employed Transformers fan artists. Which I think is good. I think it's better to hire.
It inspired a whole generation, I would say.
Yeah, it's better to really
re-energized one.
Yeah, to hire someone to be an artist who has like an attention to detail of the look and design of the character more so than a writer. Even though Adam Padick, who I used to get into huge arguments with on Alt Toys Transformers, we hated each other's guts. But I thought he did a great job in all of his stuff. But back like in the 90s, it was like... But, of course, now he's actually a Transformer. He's actually had a chance to really touch the Transformers. And I'm just getting farther and farther away and trying to grasp at something. And I'm never quite making it. Yeah. Of course, I did got to the touch. According to Stan Bush. Stan and I are first name basis. I got that going on. So, okay. So, Transformers Prime debuts this week. Listen later on. Yeah, I know. Later on,
really?
we will be talking about it.
It does.
G.I. Joe also debuts right after, and I wanted to do commentary on it live, but I don't think I can.
You can't stay up that late?
No. It's just everything I've watched so far. It's kind of making me like, I don't know that I want to watch this.
I'll be honest. I've only really looked at like a couple screenshots.
It's been like they've released like 4 minutes.
Idea of character design. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Well, they're all very recognizable, which is a good thing. But
now, Brian, remember how you said that originally you wanted to do a G.I. Joe podcast?
Yeah. God. Yeah.
For RFC.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't.
Now's your chance.
Yeah. I just don't like without sounding too awful. They've kind of changed Lady J. I don't know if they're going for some sort of, ethnicity thing or some sort of locality thing, but it's just she talks funny now. She doesn't sound like Lady J used to sound like. There's change.
Can you in a politically correct way, like,
backpedal?
Yes.
No.
Huh,
But it's
interesting. Okay.
you know,
Well, now I got to watch just for that.
yeah. I mean, it's just that it's just they've sort of changed. Her personality seems a little off.
Interesting.
But I mean, who really cares? I mean, it's not like Transformers are consistent between the shows. So, but
Oh yeah, that's true. Hey, and like as an aside, since I got Tracks today, I went and watched Autobot, Bop, of course.
awesome.
And hey, man, Raoul's like the most offensive thing ever. So maybe that's part of the retro. They're bringing back 80s GI Joe and 80s insensitivity. Maybe that's part of. I don't know. We'll
That would
see.
explain Spastic, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah. They're testing they dip their toes in the water with
Yeah.
Spastic.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what the people want.
So, okay, so let's see here. And what else do we have in the news this week? Oh, Amy, tell us about the War for Cybertron thing. Okay, so there's War for...
Oh, okay.
Get back to that. That was
Well, they
awesome.
just announced this like last night.
Sure.
Well,
What is it?
Back to
you want me to go
Brian.
for? Okay.
We may
well,
have some lag.
yeah. The game has the 10 times the experience from now until Sunday, midnight Eastern Standard Time. So that's 6 whole days if you count yesterday when it actually started until Sunday. So get your time in to go level up your characters and all of that fun stuff. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm chatting.
He's taking it all in.
I'm also in the chat room talking to Sazinka about Spastic.
Oh, okay.
Well, Hasbro appreciates your spin control too,
Yes,
Brian.
yes.
Lending a hand.
Yes.
Yes.
Or just explaining the story.
Yeah, well, I am PR, or I have been, not now, but okay. So, is that it? We have some comic news. Amy, do you want to tell us about what's going on in
Go
the
straight
comic
into
news?
the comic news. Yeah. Well, we got the February 2011 solicits from IDW, and we have Infestation 1 and 2. Galvatron will be back. Ongoing 16 will be out in February, and several out-of-print IDW titles will be reprinted and available for purchase in February. All Hail Megatron, all the volumes of that, both the AllSpark Almanacs 1 and 2, so anyone who hasn't gotten that will have an opportunity to get those again. Ongoing for All Mankind trade paperback. I'm not quite sure on it, but someone was saying that they might just be the single issues and they'll be like really cheap, like $1 each. So I'll go find out for sure, but I wasn't very clear on that when I read it, so I wasn't quite sure.
Do we know?
The Best of Optimus Prime and Megatron? Yeah.
Do we know?
Brian.
Do we know if they're adding anything to? I guess I could ask Jim if they're adding anything to the AllSpark Almanac 1 and 2 for buying the whole set. I mean, adding anything exclusive to sort of entice the people that bought it.
Well, I think this is just a reprint of the
Oh, so it's not an
reprint
omnibus?
of 1 and then reprint of 2.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's not an omnibus. It's just it's both the almanacs separately reprinted. So
Like-
if you haven't had a chance to get a hold of those, you can get them.
Like the here I'm holding in my left hand the complete Transformers arc, and it's freaking phenomenal. I really wish they would do sort of a complete version of AllSpark Almanac in a similar way. I would probably pick it up too. I mean, I love AllSpark Almanac volumes 1 and 2, but it would just be really cool to have a complete version of it. I will support good stuff. Okay, so is that it?
No, just a little bit more. Best of Optimus Prime and Megatron will be out, and some will be again.
Awesome.
Also, out this week, Transformers Mosaic. It's up on DeviantArt. It's written by one of my friends, John Riss, so go check it out. And Sector 7 is out today. Unfortunately, I just barely picked it up myself, and I haven't had a chance to read it. So I can't tell you anything about it because I've been really busy and I haven't had a chance to read it. So I will get my review written up as soon as I can, fit it in since tomorrow's a holiday and I've got family coming. But other than that, that's all that's in the comics this week.
Very cool. Okay.
I'm going to go out on a limb and guess you're not really missing anything with Sector 7 anyway.
It's supposed to be surprisingly not awful, right?
flipped through just to see the art, and you know what? They've changed the art style and the art and the colorist, and I actually it looks interesting. It looks like it actually might, be kind of cool. It's set in the era of Bonnie and Clyde and doing some sort of bank robber type thing. Like I said, I haven't read it, so I can't tell you anything about it yet. But it looks a little bit more interesting than last issue, so I'll have to wait and. Sorry, I failed this week.
No. You succeeded with flying colors.
Yes.
That's okay.
So XV, do you want to pretend to be
segment so far?
Do you want to pretend to be JD XV and tell us what's going on this week in history?
Well, I couldn't possibly pretend to be JD, and I won't even tell you
Would
why.
you want to?
Okay. So why don't you tell us what's going on this week in history, XV?
Okay. On November 21st, 1997, the Japanese Beast Wars opening and ending single War Stop It for the Dream is released by Columbia Music Entertainment. Have you ever listened to War Stop It?
No, I haven't.
You should.
No.
It's hilarious.
I haven't either.
If you say so.
In slightly
It's
less
so bad
hilarious.
that it's funny.
Is it like the Bio Combat theme?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember hearing the Bio Combat theme.
Oh, I will play it for you shortly.
Oh, good. But no, it's funny in that Japanese trying to be, American rapping kind of way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great.
You sold me.
In slightly less awesome and mostly just more sad news, on November 22nd, 1986, Scatman Crothers died of lung cancer.
Yeah, that sucks.
Sad.
I suck for picking that one.
Yes.
But it's
Yeah, I know. I
R.I.P.
thought we weren't
Kung
going to do people dying anymore.
Fu.
but it's Scatman Crothers. The
Yeah,
man.
I figured that was why it was an exception.
I will make an exception for Scatman Crothers because the man was so awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. Best voice G1.
Easily.
If only he could have lived to see a BotCon.
Yeah,
So sad. So sad.
would have been awesome.
It would have been awesome. Can you imagine that? The reaction he would get at a BotCon? Well.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and skip that one because I don't like mentioning episode appearances.
Yeah, I was trying to just rack my brain for why to mention Ultimate Doom for a fourth week in a row.
Somewhere, somehow,
Nice.
at some point, Ultimate Doom re-aired.
Or somebody watched it.
Somebody
or something.
watched Ultimate Doom on DVD. Okay. So
Somebody
let's. Okay, we will go ahead, take a break, and come back with the Wiki Spotlight. Okay, so if you're watching live, this is in the podcast where the Wiki Spotlight would play. We are going to go ahead and skip the topic because the topic will be recorded right after Transformers Prime on Friday. So what we're going to do, we're going to come and talk about Twitter Theater without Rob and
That's unfortunate.
wrap up the show.
That's impossible.
Yeah, I know.
But
So,
we'll do it.
so did everyone else watch it?
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
I did.
John and I will talk about it. Okay, so let's go ahead.
It's a minute and a half long. I can fake it.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so we are back. We are going to talk about Twitter Theater this week without Rob. Rob is not here due to the holidays. So, Rob posted this, and I was watching it. I'm like, huh, okay. I mean, it's kind of Mazinger Z-esque, I guess. But, of course,
Yeah,
then there's this...
cheap anime.
Yeah, and then there's this gigantic Inferno-looking dealio running around. So, I'm going to go ahead and play it for the people out there in our viewing audience, Twitter Theater for this week. It's pretty crazy. I don't really know what's going on.
You're not.
Yeah.
Oh no!
You can't comprehend what's happening.
The invisible grubby of the earth. Die, robots!
Okay, so
I always wonder, what's the what animator conceived this, and how did he sell this
I don't know.
to somebody to give me money to make this happen? Also, yes, the flying inferno with the spinning mace is awesome.
Yeah, so the guys running around with their fists flying off and their heads ejecting, just really reminds me of Mazinger Z. Of course, what we got here is Transor Z, which is a very fond part of my youth, sadly. There's Inferno.
Yes.
Apparently,
being very not Inferno.
Yeah, so not being like an anime maven, I'm missing out like on all the other ripped off things running around.
Well,
that's why we need Rob here.
In there.
That's the reason I wanted XV to do the Twitter theater this week, but Rob did it. He didn't read the emails like, hey, let XV do Twitter theater this week.
Well, see, that's not even what I got out of those emails. So.
Yeah.
I didn't get
Once
that
again,
email.
you fail pretty well, Brian.
It is true. So, it's kind of crazy. Twitter
Yeah,
theater this week.
It's actually in a weird way like full of references. So I guess if you're a real like super geek,
If you're a
it's
Monzo.
kind of fun to like go frame by frame and pick out all the references. So.
Yeah, so... Okay, so,
Of course, these shows do that by design rather than just ripping everything off.
very true.
Yeah, this isn't very sophisticated ripping offing. I hate to tell you.
No, it's well, I mean, it takes some effort to draw it and then, take a photograph and do 12 then do 12 a second to make it move. So I mean that's pretty
some
sophisticated.
small amount of effort did take place here.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about the CGI cartoon China has based on knockoffs of Power Rangers toys?
Yes, you did.
Well, I have to bring that up as often as I can because, it's the CGI cartoon in China based on knockoffs of Power Rangers toys.
You would think as much effort as it takes to make a cartoon that they would make a good one each and every time. I would take,
Effort costs money.
like with G1, I would have, spent more than, 48 hours writing an episode if I were writing it.
Like,
Ooh.
I
look
know.
at Energon. Obviously, there was no effort there.
That's true. Of course, Energon also has like CG, and CG is cheap these days.
Energon really has CG, and that was the cheapest they could find.
Yeah. So
They
okay.
could-
Yeah,
they could have
especially
taken
when
with
like there are
puppets.
multiples of everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do 1,000 Ravages. That'll look expensive.
It will.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and wrap up RSC for this week. Everyone out there, I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for watching live. And if you're watching live, you haven't heard the topic yet, so you'll want to go back and download it because it's going to be good. So thank you for listening, and we will be back next week.